Angle is a village and community on a narrow peninsula on the very southwest tip of Wales in Pembrokeshire. It has two public houses, a school, post office, a castle, St Mary's Church and a sandy beach to the west of the village. The nearest railway station is Pembroke, from where there is a bus link. The Angle lifeboat received silver medals in 1878 for rescuing the crew of the Loch Shiel from rocks near Thorn Island. The ship had been carrying a cargo of whiskey and beer. The village. A major occupation is tourism as people travel to use the sheltered beach at West Angle Bay, which has been designated a site of special scientific interest. The rock pools in the bay are home to a small green starfish called Nilfanion. The starfish was only formally identified in 1979. The castle in the village is a single pele tower that was built by Robert de Sherburne in the 14th century. It is within Castle Farm but can be easily accessed. The castle may have been built by the Sherburne family during the time of Ordnance Survey. A French army landed at Angle in 1405 to assist Survey. Some sources see the castle as a simple pele tower, but others see evidence of a moat and another tower and regard what survives as being the remains of a larger castle. In the 19th century it was reported that 388 people lived in the village, with the women involved in plaiting straw for bonnets and mats, whilst the men would trawl for oysters when they were in season. In the same century a large number of forts were constructed around Pembroke Dock and Milford Haven. Three of these are on the coast around Angle: the East Blockhouse Battery, Thorn Island Fort, and the Chapel Bay Fort. The construction was at the behest of Lord Palmerston following a royal commission. For many generations the chief landowners in Angle were the Mayorhouse family, descendants of John Mayorhouse of Brownslade, Pembrokeshire, who purchased the Angle estate from the Kinner family for £29,000 shortly after 1800. The family later made the hall its main seat after extensive refurbishment in the 1830s. By 1886, John Mayorhouse's descendant Lt. Col. Richard Walter Bird Levitt of Staffordshire, graduate of Eton and Christ Church, Oxford, had taken the surname of his mother's family and had settled in the village. Lt. Col. Mayorhouse, as he became known, lived at the Hall, Angle, where his descendants continue to live today, and where he embarked on making improvements to the estate and the village, including constructing a number of buildings, including the eclectic Globe Hotel, now in private hands. The Mayorhouse estate included Cheverton Farm and Hobbiton Farm. The family also owned the Golden Estate in Pembroke and Wollaston Farm in Pembroke Street, Mary. John Mayorhouse was appointed High Sheriff of Pembrokeshire in 1831, and Lt. Col. Richard Walter Bird Mayorhouse served as High Sheriff in 1886. Councillor John Allen Mayorhouse of Angle currently serves as Pembrokeshire County Council Deputy Leader. St Mary's Church. The church stands in the main street surrounded by a full graveyard in which stands the Sailors' Chapel, a Grade I listed building dedicated to St. Anthony. The chapel is a fairly small building that was built in the 15th century by Edward de Sherburne, a Knight of Angle. Beneath the chapel is a crypt where many anonymous seamen's bodies that had been found on the coastline were readied for burial until the early 20th century. The church itself is thought to have been built in the 13th century, with a tower added in the 15th century. The church's grounds also include a number of graves for a Japanese ship that sank locally during the First World War. The church contains memorials to the Mayorhouse family of the Hall, Angle, as well as ancient monuments to the families of Ferrers and Dawes of Bangaston, now a ruin located within the parish. Notable residents: Lieutenant Colonel Richard W. B. Mayorhouse, High Sheriff of Pembrokeshire 1886, and Lieutenant Colonel of 4th Bat. North Staff's Regiment, Jocelyn Drangulo, ancestor of the Nagle and Costello families of Ireland, Florida. 1172. Lifeboat. A lifeboat station was established here in 1868. Since then there have been a number of lifeboats and even a number of different slipways. A crew here has received numerous awards, including 7 silver medals from the RNLI. In 2008 there are 2 lifeboats, the Lady Rank and the smaller Richard John Talbot Miller. The first rescue where the crew received silver medals was in the rescue of 27 people who were on board the 1878-built Loch Shiel, which had run into rocks off Thorn Island. 2 lifeboat crew members and the honorary secretary received silver medals. One of these crew members was Thomas Rees. He is buried in the churchyard at St. Mary's. It was said that the lifeboat was unable to reach them, but these brave people managed to get to them by climbing around Thorn Island and getting a rope to the ship. They literally held on by the fingertips to achieve this. The rescue is particularly noteworthy as it is described as Wales's whiskey galore. The Loch Shiel was carrying goods from Scotland to Adelaide and included gunpowder, beer and 7,500 cases of Glasgow whiskey. Much of this was never recovered. Some of the bottles are still amongst the wreck, which are described as undrinkable, but much of the cargo was only partially recovered by the customs men. It was said that one local drank himself to death on the 100-proof whiskey. In 1999, bottles of beer from the wreck were auctioned for £1,000 per bottle. The next award was a bronze medal awarded to coxswain James Watkins for rescuing 28 people on the 26th of November 1929 from the single-screw steamship Molesey, which had been caught by a sudden wind change under poor decision by its captain. James Watkins went on to be awarded both a silver medal for rescuing 6 people in 1944 from the motorboat Thor, and a year later another bronze medal for a difficult rescue of 9 people from the steamer Walter L. M. Russ. More recently, coxswain William John Rees Holmes has been awarded 2 bronze medals. The first was in 1977 when the tanker Donna Mariki was thought to be about to explode and the lifeboat stood by her in December 1976. The second bronze medal was for rescuing 3 people from the fishing boat Cairnsmore on the 1st of December 1978. In 1997, a third coxswain, Jeremy R. Rees, and his crew were awarded another bronze medal for rescuing 4 people after the motorboat Dale Princess was blown onto cliffs on Skoma Island. The rescue was made in gale-force winds and stormy seas. In April 2009, a new £2.2 million Tamer-class lifeboat replaced the previous Tyne-class boat. Funding raising started in 2006 in Pembrokeshire and Birmingham, while a single £1.6 million donation from Hurt Lodge of Master Masons, a branch of the Freemasons in London, enabled final purchase of the boat. Recent events. In 1996, the coastline around Angle was severely affected by an oil spill from the Sea Empress. The eventual clean-up of all the beaches took several years and cost £60 million.